Revenue management tactics in a digital world. As we all know, one of our key priorities today is driving direct bookings to your hotel. I'm sure it's everybody's KPI today. Because of everyone going into cyberspace, looking at digital marketing, looking at your booking engine, and all of these things, it can be very, very technical. But don't forget, as a revenue manager or as a property team, we are not 100% experts on the technical aspects of how a booking engine works or how digital marketing works, SEO, SEM, and so forth. But it is very, very important for us as operators, managers, to know how to drive it. There's always a saying I always say is that you don't need to be a chef to know how a dish is prepared or whether a dish is good or not. In this series of revenue management tactics in a digital world, we will go through on what revenue management, the impact of revenue management on your digital marketing results, like driving direct bookings to your hotel, number one, first priority. Number two, how to look at ROI on your digital marketing expenses, your budget, right? How do you get more bookings or more click-through rates on your impressions, for example? Before we start, we all know this is the very basic principle of revenue management. What is it about in today's world? Right product, right customer, right time, right price, right length of stay, and obviously using the right channels. Why do we say using the right channels? Because today revenue management does not only look at driving demand, they also look at sales conversion, and every distribution channel that you have gives you different level of profitability. So driving direct bookings is always the one with the highest profitability because you do not pay commission for it. So to have effective ROI on your digital marketing and drive direct booking, you need to ensure that selling the right product to the right customer. So the revenue manager here needs to drive this. In a lot of hotels, it's the marketing communications or the marketing manager that drives your digital marketing. For me, the more important thing is for the revenue manager to drive it. A lot of hotels use third-party digital marketing companies to do their SEO, their SEM, their impressions and things like that. But they do not know who is the right customer that will buy your product. Which market should you have your impressions? Should you be spending impressions on, for example? When is the right time for your impressions to come up? For example, you have identified that, okay, there's school holidays in Singapore, in Indonesia and Thailand. So you say that, okay, I'm going to spend some money on digital marketing in these locations because this is where I see the customers are coming on from this period of time. But your digital marketing person will not know when is the right time for the impressions to come up. And this is where the revenue manager comes in. Revenue management comes in. You need to look at your pace report. You need to look at your booking window so that you know when is the right time for your impressions to come up. And then you need to look at the right price. They are not going to, your Marcom, your digital marketing company, does not look at this. You tell them, sell my room for 100 ringgit, they sell your room for 100 ringgit. You tell them, sell my room for 500 ringgit, they'll sell your room for 500 ringgit. But as you know, if you do not price yourself correctly, you don't have an effective pricing strategy, no matter how much you spend on impressions, or even no matter how high your click-through rates is, you are not going to get any sales conversion. And obviously, the right length of stay as well. For example, if you look at your booking window, your pace report, and you know on certain days, if you're a resort on weekends, on Friday and Saturdays, you probably do not just want to have everyone to check out on a Sunday, and then you are empty on a Sunday night, for example. So again, you need to balance out when is your sales conversion going to happen, when is the highest or the peak time where you get a lot of click-through rates, and you need to match it with the days of week or the dates that you want your sales conversions to happen. And again, when we talk about using the right channels, it's always your own proprietary website. We are not just going to focus on your proprietary website as well. You just can't survive alone on direct, right? You still need to work with your OTAs. The big hotels still have GDSs and all those. And again, this is where revenue management plays a major role. And we'll talk about it in the next few slides. Everybody needs to understand your stakeholders, your owners, your general managers, your colleagues, your subordinates, the operations people. They all need to understand that revenue management is not a computer system. It is a process that is a balance between arts and science, people and systems. Why do I say arts and science? Because we are dealing with people, we are dealing with emotions. Different markets, as you know, have got different demographics, as you know, has got different psychographic, they have different needs and wants and things, buying behavior and things like that. And science, because again, when you make decisions in revenue management, it's got to be very rational and logical at the same time. So it's a balance between the two. And why do we say people and systems? I've been in corporate office for hotels for a very, very long time, from Marriott and Tusitani, and doing consultancy work for major hotel corporations and things like that. And a lot of time, the misconception is I have invested 15,000 US dollars to get the RMS, the best RMS, whether it's Ideas RMS or Duetto or whatever, but it is not producing. And the reason why we say it's not producing, or it may not be producing, is because of what? Can somebody tell me? Why is it in some cases when a hotel invests in a system, a very dynamic central reservation system, for example, a very dynamic channel manager, for example, a very dynamic, the best revenue management system in the market, or even a PMS, but they are not seeing the ROI? The simple answer is because you need a good driver to drive it. You can have the best revenue management system, you can have the best PMS. At the end of the day, garbage in, garbage out. And that's why revenue managers play such an important role today, where bookings are now made online most of the times, regardless whether it's an OTA, whether it's your booking engine, whether it's a GDS. The challenge today we face is that, again, the same as we used to face about 15, 20 years ago when I was still in a corporate office, where social media, Facebook, Instagram and all pop up. A lot of marketing communications or marketing managers do not know what to post on it. They do not know how to handle online reviews, for example. So it's the same with your system as well. You can have the best RMS, but if your revenue manager or the person who's entering the data does not do it correctly, does not feed the correct information into the system is not going to give you the ROI you want. That's why we say it's people and systems. Same with digital marketing as well. Doing banner ads design, putting it out on Google or Yahoo or whatever is the system, the process of doing it. But you still need people. You still need to deal with people's emotions. What does your market look for example, and things like that. You need to highlight this in your banner ads. For example, if you're doing a banner ad for a family holiday, you need to put the right images in there. You need to have the right tagline in there. Different markets think differently. So again, this is where your revenue management team, not just the revenue manager. Revenue management is not a one-man show. The revenue manager is just the driver. Don't forget that. The revenue manager cannot work in silo. The revenue manager needs to work with operations for feedback, for guest feedback, for example. The revenue manager needs to know the feedback from front office. What does the guest feel about getting value for what they are paying for? The revenue manager can look at your concept, come up with the right pricing. I'm looking at my concept. You look at your rate value metrics and you say, okay, I can price myself at 300 ringgit. The more important thing is the guests, when they check in, what do the guests think about paying 300 ringgit to stay at your hotel. Because here, one of the most important thing about pricing today is not just looking at your rate value metrics. It's not just benchmarking your price versus your primary competitors and the market. It's also ensuring that your guest sees value. That's the key word, value perception, when it comes to doing your pricing today.